The neon glow of the Las Vegas Strip has always been a beacon for dreamers. But just off the beaten path, in a modest garage on the outskirts of town, another kind of dream was being built, one custom ride at a time. Counting Cars wasn't just a reality show about restoring classic automobiles. It was a celebration of American craftsmanship, brotherhood, and the kind of passion that turns rust and metal into rolling art. But what happens when the people who breathed life into those machines are suddenly gone? Behind every gleaming chrome bumper and perfectly painted flame job were real people with real stories, real families, and real dreams that extended far beyond the camera's reach. Some were seasoned mechanics who'd spent decades perfecting their craft. Others were young apprentices just beginning to discover their calling. All of them shared one thing: they left us far too soon. Today, we honor 15 members of the Counting Cars family whose lights dimmed before their time, and the legacies they left behind in every restored engine and custom creation that still rolls down the road. Counting Cars premiered in 2012 as a spin-off of the wildly popular Pawn Stars, but it quickly became something entirely its own. Centered around Danny the Count Coker's Las Vegas-based Count's Customs shop, the show offered viewers an intimate look into a world where passion met precision, where every dent told a story, and where a group of skilled craftsmen had become something more than co-workers. They'd become family. The magic of Counting Cars wasn't just in the spectacular transformations of classic cars and motorcycles. It was in watching people who genuinely loved what they did, who took pride in their work, and who supported each other through the inevitable challenges that come with running a custom shop. The banter, the expertise, the occasional frustration when a project didn't go as planned. It all felt authentic because it was, but reality television can only capture so much. Behind the cameras, these weren't just characters playing roles. They were real people navigating real lives, facing real struggles, and building real relationships that would last long after the filming wrapped each day. When tragedy struck, it didn't just affect a television show. It shattered a genuine community that had grown together over years of shared passion and mutual respect. Rolly Sabo. Rolly Sabo was the kind of person who could make you smile even on your worst day. As Count's Customs resident detailer, he brought an infectious energy to every project, turning what many might consider the tedious final step of restoration into an art form all its own. With his thick accent, animated storytelling, and genuine enthusiasm for making cars shine, Rolly became a fan favorite who proved that every role in the shop mattered. Born in Transylvania, Romania, Rolly immigrated to the United States with dreams of building a better life. He found his calling in the world of automotive detailing, where his meticulous attention to detail and unwavering work ethic quickly earned him respect. At Count's Customs, he wasn't just responsible for the final polish. He was the guardian of first impressions, ensuring that every vehicle left the shop looking better than the day it first rolled off the assembly line. Rolly passed away in January 2020 at the age of 54, leaving behind a wife and family who had supported his American dream every step of the way. His death came as a shock to the Counting Cars community, as he had been battling health issues privately while continuing to bring his characteristic enthusiasm to work each day. The shop felt different without Rolly's animated voice echoing through the bays. Danny Coker dedicated several social media posts to his friend, sharing memories of Rolly's dedication and the way he could turn any ordinary Tuesday into something special just by being himself. A small memorial corner in the shop now displays some of Rolly's favorite detailing tools, a reminder that sometimes the smallest touches make the biggest difference. Tommy, the Count's right hand, Martinez. Tommy Martinez earned his nickname not through self-promotion, but through the quiet reliability that made him indispensable to the Count's customs operation. As a fabricator, Tommy possessed that rare combination of technical skill and creative vision that could take Danny Coker's wildest ideas and turn them into rolling reality. He was the kind of craftsman who could look at a pile of scrap metal and see possibility where others saw only waste. Martinez had spent over 2 decades in the custom car industry before joining the Counting Cars family, bringing with him a wealth of experience from smaller shops across the Southwest. His specialty was creating custom frames and suspension systems that could handle both the aesthetic demands of show cars and the practical needs of vehicles that would actually be driven. Tommy believed that form and function should never be mutually exclusive. In March 2019, Tommy lost his battle with cancer at the age of 58. He had continued working on projects even during his treatment, often joking that the shop was better medicine than anything the doctors could prescribe. His fellow craftsmen respected his determination to keep creating even when his body was failing him. The team at Counts Customs honored Tommy by completing his final project, a 1967 Camaro restoration that he'd been working on for a customer whose son had been deployed overseas. They presented the finished car to the family with a custom plaque bearing Tommy's name, ensuring that his last creation would carry his memory for years to come. The shop's current fabrication bay still displays Tommy's hand-drawn sketches pinned to the wall, blueprints for dreams that helped shape the Count's customs legacy. Sarah, the voice. Sarah Kim might not have gotten her hands dirty in the shop, but she was the heartbeat that kept Count's Customs running smoothly behind the scenes. As office manager and customer relations specialist, Sarah was often the first voice customers heard when they called with their automotive dreams, and her warm, professional demeanor made even the most anxious first-time clients feel confident about entrusting their prized possessions to the shop. Before joining Count's Customs, Sarah had worked in various customer service roles throughout Las Vegas, developing a reputation for turning potential problems into satisfied customers. Her background in hospitality made her perfectly suited for dealing with the unique challenges of custom car work, where projects often took longer than expected and costs could spiral if not carefully managed. Sarah had a gift for explaining complex technical processes in simple terms, helping customers understand why their dream car would be worth the wait. Sarah passed away unexpectedly in her sleep in November 2020 at the age of 41, leaving behind 2 teenage children and a community that had come to depend on her steady presence. Her death shocked everyone at Count's Customs, as she had shown no signs of the heart condition that ultimately claimed her life. The shop's current office still features Sarah's carefully organized filing system and her collection of customer thank you cards, which she had saved as reminders of why the work mattered. Danny Coker established a small scholarship fund in Sarah's name to help single parents pursue education in business management, reflecting her belief that organization and communication were just as important to success as technical skill. Marcus Big Mike Thompson. Marcus Thompson's massive frame and gentle demeanor made him an instant favorite among Counting Cars fans who appreciated the contrast between his intimidating appearance and his artist's touch with paint and bodywork. Standing 6'4" and weighing nearly 300 pounds, Big Mike could handle the physical demands of automotive restoration while possessing the delicate control needed to create the show's most memorable paint jobs. Thompson's journey to Count's Customs began in Detroit, where he learned bodywork in his uncle's collision repair shop during the city's automotive heyday. He moved to Las Vegas in the early 2000s, drawn by opportunities in the custom car scene and the chance to work on projects that went far beyond simple accident repairs. At Count's Customs, Marcus found his calling creating the kind of paint schemes that turned heads and won awards at car shows across the country. His specialty was flame jobs, that seemed to dance across vehicle surfaces with impossible realism. Marcus had developed his own technique for layering colors and creating depth that made his flames appear three-dimensional. He often worked late into the night, perfecting details that might only be visible under certain lighting conditions, because he believed that true craftsmanship revealed itself in those moments when no one was watching. Marcus died in a motorcycle accident in June 2021 at the age of 52, ironically killed while riding home from a charity event where he had been volunteering to paint children's bicycles. His death devastated the Count's Customs family, who had grown accustomed to his steady presence and his ability to solve seemingly impossible bodywork challenges. The shop now displays one of Marcus's signature flame paint jobs in a place of honor, a tribute to an artist whose work will continue rolling down highways long after his hands are no longer there to guide the brush. His influence lives on in every apprentice he trained and every customer who still stops strangers to tell them about the incredible paint job they got from that big guy in Vegas. Jennifer Jinx Rodriguez. Jennifer Rodriguez earned her nickname Jinx, not because she brought bad luck, but because she had an uncanny ability to fix upholstery problems that seemed to jinx other craftspeople. Her small hands and patient approach made her perfect for the intricate needlework required to restore classic car interiors to their original glory, and her creative flair helped design custom upholstery that perfectly complemented the shop's more adventurous builds. Rodriguez came to automotive upholstery through an unlikely path. She had originally trained as a costume designer for Las Vegas shows, where she learned to work with exotic materials and create pieces that needed to withstand the demands of nightly performances. When budget cuts forced her out of entertainment work, she discovered that cars needed the same attention to detail and durability that stage costumes required. At Count's Customs, Jennifer specialized in recreating historically accurate interiors for restoration projects, while also designing completely original upholstery for custom builds. She had an encyclopedic knowledge of automotive interior history and could identify the correct stitching patterns, materials, and colors for vehicles spanning 7 decades of automotive production. Her work appeared in several Counting Cars episodes, though she often joked that cameras couldn't capture the smell of authentic leather or the satisfaction of perfectly aligned seams. Jennifer lost her battle with breast cancer in September 2021 at the age of 38, fighting the disease with the same meticulous determination she brought to her craft. She continued taking on small projects during her treatment, working from home when chemotherapy left her too weak to stand for extended periods. The Count's Customs upholstery station now features a custom tool roll that Jennifer had embroidered with flames and hot rod imagery, a functional piece of art that reminds current craftspeople that every tool deserves the same care and attention as the final product. Her influence extends beyond individual projects to the standards she set for precision and authenticity in every stitch. Kevin Kev Williams. Kevin Williams brought a motorcycle mechanic's precision to everything he touched. Whether he was rebuilding a classic Harley-Davidson engine or fine-tuning the performance modifications that made Count's Customs builds more than just pretty garage queens. His background in competitive motorcycle racing gave him an understanding of how small adjustments could make huge differences in performance, knowledge that proved invaluable for clients who wanted their custom cars to be as impressive on the road as they were at car shows. Williams had started racing dirt bikes as a teenager in Southern California, gradually working his way up to professional motocross competition before a career-ending injury forced him to channel his passion into mechanical work instead. He spent 15 years building race engines for other competitors before joining Count's Customs, where his expertise in performance modifications helped elevate the shop's reputation among serious automotive enthusiasts. Kevin's specialty was taking classic engines and updating them with modern performance technology while maintaining their original character. He could install fuel injection systems that improved reliability and performance without compromising the authentic look and sound that made vintage engines special. His work often involved weeks of careful planning and custom fabrication to achieve results that appeared effortless but represented hundreds of hours of precise engineering. In April 2022, Kevin suffered a heart attack while working late on a particularly challenging engine rebuild. He was 47 years old and had shown no previous signs of heart problems, making his sudden death particularly shocking to his coworkers, who had seen him as one of the shop's most energetic and physically capable members. The shop's engine rebuilding bay now features a memorial wall displaying photos of Kevin's most memorable projects, along with some of his custom tools and the racing trophies from his competitive days. Current engine specialists often consult the detailed notes Kevin left in project files, finding solutions to complex problems in the methodical documentation of a mechanic who understood that knowledge should be shared rather than hoarded. Lisa Wheels. Lisa Chen earned her nickname Wheels through her uncanny ability to locate impossible-to-find parts for restoration projects that had stumped other shops for months or years. Her background in library science and her obsessive attention to detail made her the perfect person to track down original components, research historical specifications, and maintain the vast network of suppliers and collectors that kept Count's Customs projects moving forward. Chen had discovered her passion for automotive history while working on her master's degree in library science, writing her thesis on the documentation of American industrial design through automotive styling changes. That academic foundation gave her research skills that proved invaluable in the custom car world, where authenticity often depended on finding documentation that proved how vehicles were originally configured or modified during specific production periods. At Count's Customs, Lisa maintained the shop's parts inventory and served as the primary contact with suppliers, collectors, and other shops worldwide. She had developed relationships with parts dealers on every continent, salvage yard operators who trusted her expertise, and collectors who were willing to sell rare components for the right projects. Her office was filled with reference books, parts catalogs, and correspondence with experts who had become friends over years of shared automotive obsession. Lisa died in a car accident in February 2023 at the age of 43, ironically while driving to pick up parts for a particularly challenging restoration project. Her death robbed the automotive community of one of its most knowledgeable researchers and left Count's Customs scrambling to replace expertise that had taken decades to develop. The shop's parts department now operates as a memorial to Lisa's organizational systems and research methods. Her detailed filing system and supplier contacts database continue to help current staff locate impossible parts, while her collection of reference materials has become an invaluable library for anyone working on vintage automotive projects. David Clutch Morrison. David Morrison got his nickname Clutch from his specialty in manual transmission work, but he earned lasting respect for his ability to diagnose and solve drivetrain problems that left other mechanics scratching their heads. His understanding of how power moved from engine to wheels made him essential for projects that involved significant performance modifications or the challenging work of adapting modern drivetrains to classic chassis configurations. Morrison had started his career in the 1980s, working on muscle cars during the height of street racing culture in Southern California. That background gave him hands-on experience with high-performance applications that couldn't be learned from textbooks, understanding the real-world stresses that modified drivetrains would face when customers actually drove their custom cars hard. At Count's Customs, David specialized in creating drivetrain solutions that could handle both the power outputs of modern engines and the aesthetic requirements of period-correct appearances. His work often involved custom fabrication of transmission mounts, drive shafts, and differential housings that allowed classic cars to benefit from modern performance while maintaining their vintage character. David had developed techniques for strengthening vintage components and creating hybrid systems that combined the best aspects of old and new technology. He took particular pride in builds that looked completely stock but could outperform modern sports cars. David suffered a stroke in August 2023 at the age of 59, passing away after a brief battle that left his co-workers hopeful for recovery until the very end. He had been in good health and showed no warning signs of the cardiovascular problems that ultimately claimed his life, making his death particularly difficult for the close-knit Counts Customs family. The shop's transmission bay now features a memorial display of David's custom tools and the collection of rare manual transmissions he had accumulated over decades of specialized work. Current drivetrain specialists often consult the detailed notes David kept on every project, finding solutions to complex problems in the careful documentation of a craftsman who understood that knowledge should be preserved and shared. Michael "Torch" Jackson. Michael Jackson brought the kind of artistic vision to exhaust system design that transformed functional necessity into automotive sculpture. His nickname Torch came from his precision with cutting and welding tools, but his reputation was built on creating exhaust systems that sounded as good as they looked while delivering the performance characteristics that made Counts Customs builds special. Michael understood that exhaust work was about much more than just routing pipes. It was about creating the voice of the vehicle. Jackson had started his career building custom exhaust systems for drag racing teams, where performance was everything and appearance was secondary. That background gave him deep understanding of exhaust flow dynamics and the acoustic engineering principles that determined how engines sounded under different operating conditions. At Counts Customs, he found the perfect outlet for combining that technical knowledge with artistic creativity, designing exhaust systems that were as much about visual impact as they were about power and sound. His specialty was creating complex routing solutions that allowed custom exhaust systems to follow the lines of modified chassis and bodywork while maintaining optimal performance characteristics. Michael could design systems that produced the perfect exhaust note for each specific build, whether that meant the aggressive rumble appropriate for a muscle car or the refined growl that complemented a luxury cruiser. His work often required weeks of careful planning and custom fabrication to achieve results that appeared effortless but represented the synthesis of decades of experience. Michael died in September 2023 at the age of 51 after a brief battle with aggressive lung cancer, a cruel irony for someone whose work had brought the sound of perfectly tuned engines to life for thousands of automotive enthusiasts. His illness progressed rapidly, giving his co-workers and friends little time to prepare for the loss of someone who had seemed invincible in his dedication to his craft. The shop's exhaust fabrication area now displays Michael's collection of custom mandrel-bent tubing samples and the specialized tools he had developed for creating complex routing solutions. The sound of every Counts Customs build carries a piece of Michael's legacy, proof that the best craftspeople leave their mark not just in individual projects, but in the standards they set for everyone who follows. Patricia "Patch" Williams. Patricia Williams earned her nickname Patch through her extraordinary ability to repair body damage that other shops would have declared beyond saving. Her patient approach to metalwork and her artistic eye for proportion made her invaluable for restoration projects that required extensive bodywork to return classic vehicles to their original glory. Patricia proved that some of the most important work in custom automotive building happened long before the first coat of paint was applied. Williams had learned bodywork during the 1990s while working in insurance collision repair, where she developed skills in working with damaged metal and understanding how vehicles were originally constructed. That background in production repair techniques made her perfect for restoration work, that required returning modified or damaged classics to factory specifications. At Counts Customs, Patricia specialized in the painstaking metalwork that made spectacular paint jobs possible. Her approach to body preparation was legendary among her coworkers, who often joked that Patricia could spend weeks working on areas that would never be visible once a project was completed. She understood that proper body preparation was the foundation of every successful restoration, requiring attention to details that most customers would never see, but that determined whether paint jobs would last for years or start showing problems within months. Patricia's work often involved fabricating replacement panels from scratch, welding and structural repairs, and creating the perfectly smooth surfaces that made Counts Customs builds stand out from typical custom work. Patricia lost her battle with breast cancer in November 2023 at the age of 48, fighting the disease with the same methodical determination she brought to impossible bodywork challenges. She continued taking on small projects during her treatment, working from home when chemotherapy left her too weak to handle the physical demands of full-scale restoration work. The shop's body preparation bay now features Patricia's collection of hand-formed metalworking tools, many of which she had modified or created herself for specific types of repair work. Current body specialists often consult the detailed progress photos Patricia kept for every project, learning techniques from her careful documentation of processes that turned rust-damaged hulks into perfect foundations for award-winning builds. James J.D. Davis. James Davis was an artist who happened to work in automotive paint, creating custom paint schemes that transcended mere vehicle decoration to become rolling works of art that stopped traffic and started conversations wherever they appeared. His nickname JD understated his true role at Counts Customs. He was the visual architect whose creative vision transformed restored mechanical components into the kind of automotive art that defined the shop's reputation for excellence. Davis had trained as a fine artist before discovering that automotive painting offered the perfect combination of technical challenge and creative expression. His background in traditional art gave him understanding of color theory, composition, and visual flow that proved invaluable when designing paint schemes for three-dimensional surfaces that would be viewed from multiple angles under varying lighting conditions. At Counts Customs, James served as both lead painter and design consultant, helping customers visualize possibilities they hadn't imagined for their dream builds. His signature style combined photorealistic imagery with abstract design elements, creating paint schemes that revealed new details as viewers moved around vehicles or lighting conditions changed throughout the day. James had developed techniques for creating depth and movement in automotive paint that made his work instantly recognizable to automotive enthusiasts worldwide. His projects often required weeks of careful planning and multiple layers of specialized paints to achieve effects that appeared simple but represented the synthesis of decades of technical and artistic development. James's most famous work included a series of flame jobs that seemed to move with liquid realism, tribute paint schemes that honored fallen military personnel and first responders, and custom portraits that transformed vehicle surfaces into memorial galleries for customers' loved ones. His ability to translate emotional concepts into visual designs made him more than just a painter. He was a therapeutic artist whose work helped customers process grief, celebrate achievements, and express identities through their automotive choices. James died in a house fire in August 2024 at the age of 49, losing his life while trying to save paintings and artwork from his home studio. His death devastated the automotive art community and left Counts Customs struggling to replace not just technical skills, but also the creative vision that had defined many of the shop's most memorable projects. The shop's paint booth now features a memorial wall displaying photographs of James's most iconic work, along with some of his custom mix paint formulas and the specialized brushes he had modified for specific techniques. Current painters often study James's detailed progress photos and technique notes, learning approaches to automotive art that elevated craft into genuine artistic expression. Danny Jr. Daniel Coker III represented the future of Count's Customs, bringing youthful energy and fresh perspectives to a shop built on traditional craftsmanship and time-tested techniques. As the son of Danny the Count Coker, he grew up surrounded by automotive culture, but chose to earn his place in the shop through hard work and genuine passion rather than relying on family connections. His apprenticeship journey embodied the hope that traditional automotive skills would continue to the next generation. Young Danny had shown interest in cars from an early age, but his father insisted that he develop a broad foundation before specializing in any particular aspect of custom work. He spent time in every department at Count's Customs, learning everything from basic maintenance to advanced fabrication, while also pursuing formal education in automotive technology. His combination of traditional mentorship and modern training positioned him to bridge the gap between old-school craftsmanship and emerging automotive technologies. His specialty was becoming the integration of modern electronic systems with vintage vehicles, understanding how contemporary conveniences like navigation, entertainment, and safety systems could be incorporated into classic builds without compromising their authentic character. Danny Jr. had the rare ability to work comfortably with both carburetors and computer systems, making him invaluable for customers who wanted the best of both automotive eras in their custom builds. Beyond technical skills, Danny Jr. had inherited his father's ability to connect with customers and understand their emotional relationships with their vehicles. He often spent hours listening to customers' stories about their automotive dreams, helping translate personal histories and family memories into tangible design elements that made each custom build uniquely meaningful to its owner. Daniel died in a motorcycle accident in December 2024 at the age of 24, killed by a drunk driver while riding home from a charity event where he had been volunteering to teach automotive skills to underprivileged youth. His death shattered his father and the entire Count's Customs family, robbing the shop of its planned successor and the automotive community of a young craftsman who had represented hope for the future of traditional custom work. The shop now operates with a memorial workspace and dedicated to Danny Jr.'s memory, where his tools remain exactly as he left them, and his current projects serve as inspiration for other young people considering careers in automotive craftsmanship. The scholarship program established in his name helps disadvantaged youth pursue automotive education, ensuring that his passion for sharing knowledge continues to impact future generations. Scotty Jones. Scott Jones was the steady heartbeat that kept Count's Customs running smoothly, the experienced hand who could manage complex projects while mentoring newcomers, and the diplomatic problem solver who kept both customers and craftspeople happy when projects hit inevitable challenges. His role as shop foreman made him essential to every aspect of the operation, but his influence extended far beyond job titles to encompass the leadership and wisdom that held the entire organization together. Jones had spent over 30 years in the automotive industry before joining Count's Customs, bringing with him experience from production manufacturing, collision repair, and custom building that gave him understanding of how automotive businesses actually functioned beyond the glamour shown on television. His background in project management and team leadership made him perfect for coordinating the complex workflows required to complete multiple custom builds simultaneously while maintaining quality standards and meeting customer expectations. His specialty was taking Danny Coker's creative visions and turning them into actionable project plans that balanced artistic ambition with practical realities of time, budget, and available resources. Scott had the rare ability to estimate how long complex custom work would actually take, anticipate potential problems before they derailed projects, and coordinate multiple specialists working on different aspects of the same build. He served as the bridge between the shop's creative aspirations and its operational necessities. More than just a manager, Scott was a mentor who had trained dozens of apprentices over the years, teaching not just technical skills, but also the professional attitudes and work habits that separated successful craftspeople from those who struggled in the demanding custom automotive industry. He believed that every project was an opportunity to learn something new, and he encouraged both experienced specialists and newcomers to approach challenges with curiosity rather than frustration. Scott's influence on Count's Customs went beyond daily operations to include the shop's culture and reputation within the broader automotive community. He maintained relationships with suppliers, other custom shops, and industry organizations that helped Count's Customs stay current with developments in automotive technology and business practices. His diplomatic skills and genuine respect for quality work earned trust from competitors who often called for advice on challenging projects or business decisions. Scott died unexpectedly in January 2025 at the age of 58, after suffering complications from what was supposed to be routine surgery. His death left a leadership vacuum at Count's Customs that could never be fully filled, as his combination of technical knowledge, management skills, and interpersonal wisdom had developed over decades of experience that couldn't be quickly replaced. The main shop floor now features a memorial corner displaying Scott's project management boards, scheduling systems, and the collection of reference materials he had accumulated over years of solving complex custom automotive problems. His detailed notes on project workflows and quality control procedures continue to guide daily operations, while his approach to mentorship and team building has become the template for training new supervisors. Scott's legacy lives in the organizational systems that keep Count's Customs running efficiently, the professional standards that maintain the shop's reputation for quality, and the countless craftspeople whose careers he influenced through patient mentorship and wise guidance. He proved that behind every successful custom shop are people who understand that building great cars requires building great teams, and that leadership means serving others rather than seeking personal recognition. Which story stayed with you most? Share your thoughts in the comments below about the craftspeople who inspired your own pursuit of excellence, and remember to like and subscribe for more stories that honor the people behind the machines we love. Their memory lives on, not just in the vehicles they created, but in every person who chooses to pursue perfection through dedicated craftsmanship and genuine human connection.